Hello, and I'm delighted to have Samantha Ward with me. And Samantha is the artistic director of the Piano Week, a course that has been very popular and has been taking place in many countries. Samantha, very interesting and delighted to have you here. And I know that now, actually, this is a difficult time because we're all moving online, but I've heard some very good news that actually this is moving online, right? So it's not abandoned.
No, not at all. Hi, Julia. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me here. Yes, we're going to move Piano Week online actually this month now, so at the end of July.
Hmm.
We actually had six of our residencies cancelled, of course, because of COVID, which was quite devastating because we were set to be in Tokyo and Italy and the UK several times. But yes, we decided to not let that get us down. So we're running our online edition from the 25th of July for 6 days. So it's a normal length of Piano Week.
Yeah, how exciting. And of course, I must ask you about how this all, how do you feel, I guess, about it, about this current situation and everything that we're living in a parallel reality, really?
Yes, it's certainly very strange. It's taken me a while to get used to it all. I found lockdown quite tough in a lot of ways, just sort of readjusting to everything. And also, I had a baby a few days just before we went into lockdown, so I've been learning how to
Congratulations.
be. Thank you. So it's been a trying time, but also the most wonderful time. But I've been spending the time learning how to be a parent. Um, I think professionally at first it hit me. Wow, this is a big change. And I think we've come out of it. My husband and I, we're running Piano Week together. I think we've come out of it in a positive way with our online edition, and things are now looking up. And I've got my private students back online. So yeah, I'm much more positive now than I was about everything sort of at the beginning of April, say when I
What
who
were
knows.
the biggest challenges when you tried to move your students online?
I think at first it was just getting used to the new normal. Um, I think getting the sound right, getting the angle correct for everybody with the correct technology, things like that. So, for example, I have one very talented student who's currently learning Rack 2.
Mhm.
So I really need to see what he's doing, and the sound has to be good for that level of teaching because he's going to prepare it for a performance. So that was the hardest thing, I think, trying to find the correct microphone and the right angle so that I can really see what he's doing technically. And
Yeah.
yeah, but we've sort of got it sorted now. I think there was a little bit of a trial period um, when we
Yeah.
first started online.
Yeah. And I, of course, see in the background you have two lovely pianos. What are the pianos?
Yes. The one just behind me is a Boston, and this one next to it is a Kawai.
Gosh.
I think actually from the same factory in Japan. I think they're both from the same place, even though we got them separately. Actually, there's a funny story about the Boston. I got this into the house 4 days before my due date for giving birth.
Wow,
It,
gosh. So it's
it was
really like a
so.
baby. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a terrific opportunity, and I thought we've got to go for it. So we did, but it was 4 days before my due date. Suddenly
Wow.
changing around the house. So yeah, but it
Wow.
worked.
But it looks stunning. It looks stunning.
Thank
Fantastic.
you,
Congratulations.
thank
So,
you.
do you feel that, of course, not every student has good pianos. So, what were your tips to sort of adjust, and what were your recommendations?
I think, yeah, I mean, especially for pupils who had digital pianos or keyboards, that was a little bit more challenging. But again, we've sort of had good mics. So if you've got a good microphone, it does make a huge difference. So it is almost like you're in the room with them, almost, if you've got the good setup. Um, and yeah, we just sort of tried to work with that. They had their volume quite high on their digital pianos at home.
Hmm.
Um, and it seemed to be okay. We were using desktop computers and good microphones, so it was as close as we could get it, I think, to being in the room.
How amazing. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit more about this upcoming course. I think very interesting. I mean, who would be the other people on the course teaching? And I don't know if you can tell us how many roughly students do you expect? Is it going to be big?
Yes, well, it's really exciting. So we've got faculty actually all over the world, which is super. So we've got them in America and Canada and Europe and also in Korea. Because I sort of foresaw and I hoped that we would have participants from all over the world as well. So managing the timetable was going to be difficult if we didn't have faculty everywhere. So that's worked out nicely because our participants are also in North and South America and Europe, so it's really fantastic. And we've got the most fabulous people lined up. We've got lots of new wonderful faculty and also lots of returning members, so it's super. And they're all going to be playing live streamed recitals from their homes, which was quite interesting to work out from the timetable point of view.
Yeah.
So that all participants can benefit from all recitals, no
Gosh.
matter where in the world
Yeah,
they are. Yeah.
fantastic, fantastic. And what is the most, let's say, I mean, of course, you are the organizer, you're not only the teacher, but and I know you run before successfully things. So, what is actually the most challenging thing for you as an organizer?
I think with the online version, there are different challenges to the ones that I face in the normal world. I think the thing that we're most, I mean, not concerned about because obviously it's going to be fine. It's the fact that it's all brand new and it's such a new concept for us. And live streaming recitals, it has to really work well with as few issues as possible. I think that's the biggest challenge at the moment, and making sure we've got the right combination of really good Wi-Fi and a good mic and a good camera and all this for all our faculty everywhere. And then I think the timetabling, especially with the online edition, we've got a 16-hour time difference between participants and faculty. So that's the challenge, because Piano Week is a very social course as well. So I don't want people having individual, group classes. I mean, they do have individual lessons, but the group classes that are supposed to be for mixing and socializing as well as learning, I don't want them to be separated because someone's in America and someone else is in, Cyprus, let's say. So putting them together where it's not 5 o'clock in the morning for one of them is a challenge, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, of course. And have you invested into any equipment apart from the very nice looking Boston piano behind you?
Actually, yes. Funny story. So going back to my comment about the timetable being difficult, I was actually working on it on a very old, bad PC recently, and my husband was upstairs working on our nice computer, our MacBook. And I did about 10 hours work on this one particular day on the timetable, and at the end I thought, hooray, great, I've done it. And then the computer packed up and lost everything. So I have invested in a new computer so that we now have one each, and it's going to work and not lose my work. And we've also got mics and webcams and an Ethernet cable, because I think that will be better for the recitals in particular. They won't cut off, I hope, with that. And there won't be any blips in the sound or the
Yeah, sure.
or the camera. Yeah.
Of course. No, how exciting. And just actually touching the subject of also this, our world is changed, and of course classical music has changed. So what do you think about kind of classical music coming online and being online? And I'm actually talking now about social media. Do you think it's good, or do you think people are actually going to come to concerts more because of that, younger people?
I really hope so. I think that is the one thing that this might do, the online world, which is engage the younger audience. So I really hope it does do that. I mean, my hope is that our recitals, even for Piano Week, will do that to a certain amount, because we're going to try and put them everywhere as far as we possibly can and engage that younger audience. And then hopefully they'll want to actually physically come in the future. So hopefully. It's a bit of a weird concept. I mean, for me, it's fantastic that we can go online and continue making music together and continue concerts and everything that's kind of associated with our world. But the only thing it's missing is that feeling of being with other people, playing in a concert hall to an audience, and having, human beings right next to you, that's the thing that's missing, and that's a shame.
Yes, of course. And
Yeah.
what do you think about this sort of problem of streaming for free? So, do you think as a threat to the classical music world and actually into the performing arts in general?
Yes, I think so. I think that's very difficult, and I hope actually from our point of view, musicians' point of view, that it doesn't become expected really to stream things and, if I'm being blunt about it, essentially not get paid to be musicians and play our concerts. And after all the training we've done, that will be difficult. And I hope that that's understood. I think that could be potentially very threatening to the arts in general. I mean, not just music.
And
So we have to cross our fingers.
Of course. And I know that you are performing also a lot. So has this been, has this part of your career been affected? I'm sure it has, but to what extent? Did you have things just cancelled or postponed, or maybe some online appearances?
Well, we had actually a big Beethoven festival, a chamber music festival coming up at Piano Week this summer, and actually my husband and I were doing a lot of playing in that festival, so I was kind of frantically practicing for it until it got cancelled. But luckily we're not cancelling as such, we're actually postponing it to next summer, so we will be still doing it, and it's a lot of chamber music. So Beethoven's birthday will be shifted by a year, which is a shame, but but at least we're still doing it, so it's been postponed rather than cancelled, and that was one of the biggest things. And actually I was so looking forward to playing again with Stephen Kovacevic at our rugby residency this year, and we were going to do the Beethoven Grossflug, and sadly of course had to cancel it, but he has confirmed that he will come back next year, which is great. So we'll be playing again Beethoven a year late. But I'm just really happy, honestly, that it wasn't cancelled altogether, and that we can still move ahead with all the same concerts next year.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your relationship with Stephen. I mean, he's such a great musician and great teacher. Did you study with him, or how do you know him?
I didn't study with him. I went to a few master classes when I was studying at Guildhall with him. So I went to Dartington first of all, and had lots of classes with him there, because I'd had one actually when I was studying at Guildhall, and then actually I bumped into him quite randomly at Martha Arkwright's concert in 2015 in London, and I just asked him whether he would ever come to Piano Week, and he did that year. So we've had him for 4 consecutive years. So next year will be the 5th. So it's great. It's fantastic to have him.
Amazing, and sort of interesting. So, what do you see that kind of is the future of the classical music? Where is it all heading at the moment?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Well, I mean, I hope that it's heading back into the concert halls, and that we get over this dreadful virus, and we can go back to normal, where we have live performances in front of live audiences. And I think people might be desperate for that, honestly. In a year's time, let's say, when big summer festivals are up and running again, things like the proms and things like that people must be desperate to sort of go to. And I think there will be an element of online as well, because I think that can be fantastic, and that can be fantastic for people who can't get out, for instance, to go to concerts, can't get out to go to live events, or who are, in different countries. So I think there's a huge benefit to both worlds. But yes, I hope that we don't just stay online. I hope that live concerts come back as well.
Have you seen any motivational issues with your students at this time?
I don't think so, no. I think I'm quite lucky with my private students. They're great. And I also have adults, so that's who are really, keen on learning. I don't think so. I think children probably are quite enjoying being on screen, especially if they're normally limited. No, not so far.
Oh gosh,
it's been good.
that's nice. But then a different question. So maybe then you are a good motivator. So do you have any tips for how to motivate?
Well, they know when they come back to normal lessons with me in person that they're getting a lot of chocolate. It's one of my musts in lessons for me as well, of course. I don't know whether I've got any tips. I suppose I just tried to keep things as close to normality as possible and just continue with the same idea. So for little kids, for instance, you know, if you normally put a gold star or a sticker on their work when they finished a piece, then I would still ask the parents to get the gold stars and the stickers and just, you know, continue the same kind of motivational thing for little children. That kind of thing they love. You know, if you do 5 good practice sessions, you get a gold star, which leads on to, you know, something else when you accumulate enough. That kind of thing, which is so simple, but it works brilliantly for little ones.
You are a very, very successful, you know, performer and a teacher. And what were the kind of the things that got you there? You know, maybe you could share, because I think it's very interesting for everyone, but especially, you know, if we take graduates who are now really left without, you know, performances or the kind of clear future, do you think you could sort of map out what they could do now, or at least from your experience, what were you doing, and that they could maybe get inspired from?
Going forward for the younger generation, because
Yes.
because they're hit by this, it's really difficult. I mean, I've actually been talking to a lovely young pianist from the Birmingham Conservatoire, actually, who I work with quite a lot, and it's really difficult for me to advise her, really, because it's such a difficult time, and it's so unclear as to what will happen next and when live performances might come back. I would certainly say that networking is vital. So whatever they want to do, whether it's performing or teaching or whatever it is they want to do in music, I would say that networking is crucial, whether that's online or in person when things get back to normal. In terms of concerts, I mean, we've just been talking about live streaming, free, which, you know, I'm now sort of maybe going back on a little bit. But if it's a student who really wants to be a pianist and really wants those opportunities which they can't currently have, I would say play recitals. You know, really good quality recitals. By that I mean quality with the microphone and the webcams, not good quality playing. Really good quality equipment, play some recitals from a space, if you can get to a space with a really good grand piano, make it look fantastic, and send that around to everyone you can possibly imagine who could give you a recital. And then hopefully when things come back up again, this will really help the process along. But I think it's very, very, very difficult for the younger generation of pianists at the moment. But the girl that I work with, sorry to interrupt, I mean, she did a fantastic video of a concert performance. It's fantastic, and if she sends that around, I know that I would give her a concert. It's super professionally done and just looks very good. So it's a waiting game, really, to see how long this lockdown of concerts lasts.
But I'm sure that I think everyone sees a point of really using this opportunity also to promote yourself and sort of, you know, even with recordings and everything, sort of try and get noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so I must ask you about your idea, you know, because I just coming back to your project, because it's quite an interesting project. You know, you go to loads of different countries, you know, loads of different places. I mean, in a normal environment, in a normal world. How did it all start? Was it just your idea or your husband's idea?
Yeah, it was my idea, yes. In 2013, to kick Piano Week off, and we actually started just with 1 week in North Wales. And I actually turned 30, and I thought, right, I'm going to take my career into my own hands. So I wanted to essentially build a concert platform for me and my contemporaries on which to perform internationally, I hoped, back then as well. So to create opportunities for us to perform, and also to create a summer school where all ages and abilities could come and enjoy music together. Mm-hmm. So that's how we started, and then we built and built and built, which was super. And then by 2016, it was getting too big for me to to handle, basically. And Maciek, my husband, was already so involved that he became the co-director, and now we're running it together in the various different places that we have.
Well, it's very inspiring to that so many musicians are actually doing things, still doing things, and online, and we have a kind of a new media. It's very exciting. It's still alive, and technology is actually giving wonders. So my last question is, what would be your advice to everyone who is left without opportunities, and really how to look at this current situation?
I think, it's just tough for everyone. I think for the younger generation, again, so apart from what I said before about playing a concert, and making a really good film and sending it out, I think it's the perfect opportunity for them at the moment to learn all the repertoire that they might not have time to learn later on in life, or that they haven't learned so far. Depending on how long we're sort of in performance lockdown, a couple of major works, the last three Beethoven, last three Schubert sonatas, something like that. Maybe just to get their head around it at a young age and use this opportunity, because when life does go back to normal, there's very little time to do that kind of thing. So I think that's very good. And then there's something to kind of work towards, and there's a goal there, rather than feeling a bit rudderless, I guess, at home without any opportunities. So getting ahead and getting ready for those next concerts in the future by learning repertoire and
Of course. Well, look, thank you so much, and all the best of luck with your projects, and of course with
thank you.
looking after your baby. It must have been very exciting times now, and enjoy the gorgeous pianos. And thank you very much for being our guest. Thank you, and bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.